Hi guys, it's Robyn from Australia here. I'll just wait until some people get in the room. It's, how you going, Bryce? It's 2 p.m. in Australia on a Monday, so I thought I'd just get on and say g'day. How you going, Krishna? How you going, people? Tomo? You can put where you're from and what time it is there. Macy Joan, how you going, love? Shazza, Riley. I'll share this on Facebook, I think. Facebook. Okay. You going, Sherry Babe? Now I'll just live. Next. Share. Okay, so that might bring a few more people in. So I'm a psychic medium. I live in Australia. Like I said, it's 2 p.m-ish here on a Monday, so I don't know where you all are. But I do live readings on Facebook, TikTok. I've got an Instagram account, which I share positive affirmations. So, if anyone would like a reading, just put yes please. And someone's got here, can you name an NBA player for me? I don't follow sport, I wouldn't have the foggiest, sorry doll. I've never been one for footy or rugby or whatever. Okay, so I'll do a reading for all of us to start with. An inspiration card. Let's see what we get. Okay, so the first card here is have faith. So basically, have faith that whatever you need to experience is on its way, and that God won't send you anything you're incapable of handling, which I've had a life full of trauma and all sorts of horrible things. And there are times when you truly, you know, like I've been absolutely paralysed in fear for much of my life. But now I trust, so, you know, my situation might not be majorly different, but I don't stress like I used to. Now you can decide that the word fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. And of course, like, you know, like at the moment with everything going on in the world, you know, just because someone is experiencing one truth, it doesn't mean it's the truth for all of us. So, okay, now, would anyone like a reading? Let's have a look. I'm an artist as well, by the way. You just have a little look around. That's one of my paintings there. Some of my print work. That's my painting in the background there. So where are you all from? Jeremy, hee. Julie McGrew, how you going, love? Where are you all from, guys? Bailey, how you going, Bailey? Now, if anyone would like some cards pulled, how you going, Bailey? Would you like a reading? Yeah, I've read you before, haven't I? I know that little face. How you going, Sid? King Billa? Oh, right, okay. Well, there you go. That's good. I hope things are going all right then. Would you like a reading today, or just a general one? Hello, Julie. How you going? How you going, everyone? Now, if anyone would like some cards pulled, can be anything, can be general reading, romance reading, life path, anything. Okay, Bailey, we'll just a general reading. Well, I mean, I say general, but what comes out, as you know. So where are you, Bailey? Are you in America or Australia? And what time is it over there if you're not in Australia? Oh, you're in Australia. Cool. Okay, so it's, yeah, you know the time then. Yeah, well, because I get on here and a lot of the people are in America, the time difference is a real pain in the bum because, of course, you know, when you're full of energy and you want to do readings, it's either real early in the morning or in the middle of the night. So it'd be nice to have more Australian people on here that are sort of the same timeline, but the people I've met on here are gorgeous anyway. Okay, so back to Bailey. Okay, so what we have here is there's a Knight of Wands, so that can be a male, like a knight, so a male. But I see this often as moving forward with wherever you put your passion, or could be a job. So there's just definite progression and movement. Now there's some sort of monetary offer. So if it could be either a bank loan or a payout, or this could be connected to some sort of, you know, a high level inner job. But there's definitely some gift of some sort or some money made available to you. Okay, the Kid Core Club in Melbourne. Hi, babes. Share, guys. The ones in Australia share, so we've got more people, you know, like-minded here, so that, you know, at least you're not half asleep. Okay, so the next card after that is the Moon. So that's confusion, not knowing which way to go. So there's a choice to be made there. So don't rush into anything. Just take your time. There's a King of Pentacles. Now that also could be, so this is an older male. This also could be in terms of a job, because Pentacles is money. There's also a Knight of Pentacles. So let's have a look here. There's a few males in this. Right, the first one definitely is moving forward. I do believe it's sort of in a job situation. There's a gift of money or money made available to you. There's the not sure about something. There's the older male that could be either a father figure or it could be a bank manager or a boss or someone like that. Then the Knight of Pentacles, I think, would probably be the partner that's come back in. That's got the High Priestess after that. So things aren't exactly the way you want them. You know the meaning of life. You know, you're just feeling a bit dissatisfied at the moment. Things aren't black and white, but there still is a brighter future for you. Now, in terms of a life path card, you are able to discern answers and guidance for yourself and others. So you could do this sort of work also, you know, or just that people come to you, you know, for support and guidance, you know. And let's have a look. Okay, in regards to your relationship, there was someone from your past is returning, which we've already established that. There's a strong magnetic attraction here, and there's maybe a little bit of codependency, but, you know, so long as you're both healing and doing your own thing in that regard, then that's all good, you know. Okay, so that was for you, love. Thanks for joining. Now, if you can hear my dog in the background, he just belched. Did you just burp, Lily? Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, so that was for you, Bailey. So the Kid Core Club, if you want a reading, just let me know. Okay, so Julie McGrew, let's have a look for you, darling. So for Julie McGrew, let's have a look. Okay, it starts off with the Three of Cups, which is basically a sense of feeling like you're on your own. You don't have the support you want, so whether that's a partner or not, I don't know. And sometimes people will have a partner, but they're not actually getting the physical or emotional support. Guides have been watching over you. The angels are around you. Your family and friends are presenting you with love, but it's not actually the love that you're wanting. So there's that, and all of that brings growth, but there's that feeling of being alone. The next card's the Page of Pentacles. So that could be a male, a young male, but generally I see that as the beginning of some sort of job, some work. That there's a lot of effort to go into this, but it will be a really, you know, fruitful job in the end. Now, the Nine of Wands is, life's a bit tumultuous at the moment, so things are a little bit crazy. There's some sort of hurdle that you need to get over. So there's some challenge coming. Once you're over that challenge, it's plain sailing, and this could be in the work sector, because that sort of, to me, talks about work. So, okay. Offers, there might be a few job offers for you, or there's some choice to be made regards to some sort of monetary offer. Now, if this is you, it's showing the Queen of Wands. So it's either you or someone around you who's very warm, very loving. It could be in a work situation, very powerful, so she's a queen in her own right. The next one's the Empress. So the Empress talks about cycles. So, you know, we learn, they say it's like 7-year cycles, but you know, it just depends. But that's the birthing of something. So whether it's the birthing of, you know, some sort of new job, business, or, you know, a child, or some concept, something. There's something there's a cycle that's coming or ending, which of course if it ends there's a new cycle to begin. Now the last one here is the Four of Swords, which basically means if it's not a medical procedure, it would be taking time out. So taking time out to heal, relax, regenerate, you know, looking after yourself. So a retreat, even just in nature, you know, just getting away from it for a while. Now regards to life path, it's got here, you heal, inspire, teach and entertain with the words you write. So that has to have some meaning there somewhere for you. And the following one after that is career change. So you're embarking upon a career change that brings you the joy and abundance you desire. So that does actually make sense. That sort of hits on the new job type thing. There's a challenge, so there might be a challenge in terms of, you know, getting that job. There's the offers to do with money, powerful woman, a cycle, so you're ending a cycle, and maybe just get away and regenerate before you know, take on that new thing. So okay, so that was for you, love. I hope that had something in it that's resonating with you. And when I do readings, I mean, all the cards are guided by spirit, so they choose them, so there must be something in there that they want you to know. So let's have a look. Okay, J Wall. Hang on, I'll go back down here. Where are we? J Wall. Okay, you're in Australia too, Dale. Great. Share this so that we've got more Australians logging on. Okay, let's have a look. J Wall. Okay. So for you, darling, we have, starts off with the Eight of Pentacles. So that's a lot of work. You know, you're in that mode of you're making money, you're working away, you're quite happy, at peace with this. There's growth to be had in this situation. Now, the Two of Wands talks about some sort of contracts that may be coming later, money in, money out, and sort of like a sense of, you know, unsure about something there. Now, the following one is the Four of Cups. So that may be you in a situation where there's, you know, people talking in your ear, you're not really invested in what they're saying, which, you know, people are entitled to their opinion, but you don't have to listen to it or take it on. I often say to people, well, thank you for that, thank you for your opinion, and then you go off thinking, well, bugger that, but you know, whatever. Anyway, so there's people talking around you, there's love around you, but you're feeling dissatisfied yourself. There's some sort of love or something that you're praying for, something that you're wishing for. So at the moment you're feeling a bit alone and you're just praying for whatever it is. But, you know, what I would say and do say to people is if there's too many things you're looking or praying for, and a prayer is just a desire, heartfelt desire, right? Sort of focus on one at a time, because the universe can get caught up in, you know, if there's too many, they say, well, which one do we pick first? You know, So sort of focus on one, and that's how you'll manifest it more quickly. Now, there's a generous, loving woman here. Now, I'm not sure what your sex was. Jay will. Now, I'm not sure if you're male or female, but there's a if it's you or someone around you, there's a Queen of Pentacles. Could be to do with money, but she's a very generous, strong, powerful woman, queen in her own right. Now, the next one is moving forward, so moving into a more mature stage. Things aren't black and white. At the most base level, it can mean you could be having travel issues like hiccups, which, of course, at the moment with COVID, everyone is. I mean, personally, I want to move and live next to my kids, but they're in another state and I'm stuck here. So, you know, that's for everyone at the moment. Now, Ten of Wands is feeling completely exhausted. You know, you've had all this, you've taken on too much, basically. What you want is so close, right? You can almost touch it, but you are bloody exhausted. So now you need to start delegating and not do everything yourself, because, you know, often, Dale, you don't get any thanks for it. Now, the next one's the King of Swords. Now, that's could be a lawyer, could be a doctor, could be someone who's professional, but there could be someone wanting balance here. Now, that's actually followed by the Queen of Swords, and she can also be seen as a lawyer or a, you know, banker. Or so it's funny that there's a couple. So unless you're working with these people, these could be people you're working with, I think. I'm feeling like, yeah, that's, and they might be really cool, you know, as in icy, not cool as in cool, but cool as in icy people to work for, or could be in a banking situation or a, you know, judge, you know, lawyer, whatever, professional people. Now, you've got the strength to deal whatever it is that's been happening, and there has been some sort of battle, and it's sort of like being somewhat behind closed doors, but you've got a handle on it. You've got control of that situation. Now, let's have a look what else we've got here. Okay, so the angels are helping you lovingly speak your truth, and sometimes when we're afraid to do that, we have trouble with our throat. So, you know, if you look online, Google throat chakra, they'll, of course the colour's blue for speech. So some blue crystals, you know, maybe have a look online for some meditations to do with clearing your root chakra, your throat chakra. Just have a look at the career path card and see what we've got for you. Okay. Righto, well, they've just given me two here. Leadership, so take charge of this situation. So they're saying, you know, you have these leadership skills, right, and to take charge of it, which is the same as that last card where I said you've got control of the situation. So same sort of thing, that's strength. So that's at least highlighting that, saying that that's correct. Now, creative expression, your soul longs to express itself creatively. And even if that's nothing to do with a job that you've got or that type of thing, when you express yourself creatively, whether it's dancing or art or whatever, even cooking meals, whatever, if you're happy in doing that, you're actually creating more positive energy for yourself, and then manifestation comes in a lot quicker. And by that I mean, you know, the things and goals you have that you want, you know, can manifest, can come in quicker and more easily, because your energy's not fighting it, if you like. Okay, so just get some of these cards out of the way. So that's your reading, love. I hope that's sort of helpful. Oh, there's someone around at the moment. I'm feeling a bit. Okay, so let's have a look here. Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. Lovely heart there. So that was for Jay Whale. Thanks for sharing the live, Corey. I love it when they say, you're poor. Well, actually, yes, I am poor. I live on a disability pension. And yeah, I live in an iron house that's literally starting to crack up and fall down around me. I think it's time to sell it and go and rent somewhere, but I think rent is so expensive. Okay, so Yon the Great. Let's have a look. Yeah, I sort of, I've been doing psychic work for, like, consciously, because I've always been psychic, but, you know, back in the day it was like, I'm 55, and when I was younger, of course, you know, was considered evil. And I mean, I suppose some people still think it is. I suppose it depends where you draw your energy from. But I've only been charging for the last 3 years, and I think it was last year, was the first time I was ever able to pay just even my electric bill on time, you know. And for me, that was something new, because I raised 2 daughters on my own as a single mum. And, you know, I mean, living like that, and of course, when you are up trying to buy a house, and like I said, it was only $20,000 when I bought it. It was a very cheap house. And that's 30 years ago. Trying to pay a house off on a payment benefit, they don't actually give you rent assistance and that type of thing. So, you know, on the one hand, I understand why they do that, because they don't want to be seen to be buying homes for people, i.e. the government. But you don't get extra assistance like you would with rent, and then you've got, you know, bloody rates and all insurance and all that stuff on top of it. So, you know, it's been a rough trot. So I've been putting myself out there, like, i.e. I've got my own little reading room for the last 3 years, but where I live locally, you know, I've felt the energy shifted, because we've now gone from 3 to 5th dimensional energy. We're all sort of being led to the next step, you know. So I've, you know, been very happy doing little readings at home, etc., or you know, via phone or video or whatever, because it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it makes no difference. The direction is direction, you know. But I feel like I'm going to be led in another direction shortly, you know, and just moving. For me, I've lived here for 30 years, you know, because I had not a very pleasant childhood and early life. Finally, after, you know, years and years of struggling, and you just start to feel settled, and then the universe goes, right, next level, you know, you move, you know, you're going to move, etc. So, you know, I don't know how it is for young people today, when they sort of, you know, you get a house and you sort of take rent it for 12 months, then they have to find it. I mean, that's a hell of a way to live, isn't it? But anyway, so back to this reading. So for Yon the Great. Okay, so it starts off with the Star card. Now, the Star is a hope card. At this point, whatever pain and rubbish you've kept down, you've opened that door like Pandora's box. There's movement forward now. So it's all these dragonflies coming out of this box. Now, when we release the things that cause us the most pain, we actually feel vulnerable, you know, because it wouldn't be a life lesson, there wouldn't be any soul growth in it if it didn't have any, you know, meaning to us. So anyway, so this is moving forward now. So there's a loss of emotion, there's a feeling of vulnerability, there's definite movement forward. Your angels are around you, guiding you, so that is great. That's the hope card. And for me, you know, if there's no hope, I mean, my God, what would we have? Nothing. Okay, so the next card shows moving forward in terms of probably in work situation, wherever you put your energy, right? So there's definitely movement forward there to greener pastures, so you're flying now. The next card is the Nine of Cups, so that's, to me, that sort of talks about a love wish, or there's, so you might not have someone around you physically, but you're wanting that, or there's something that you really are wishing for in terms of love. Now, this is, of course, soul growth around you, but yeah, so that's what that is. And then the next one is the Two of Cups, so that's feeling like your hands are tied, like you can't do anything. So you feel like you're stuck, you can't move. I mean, whether that's real or not is up to you, because sometimes we place those things on ourselves because we're afraid to move forward. And it's not that we can't, it's just that we, like, you know, I don't know about other people, but they say you should not, should all over yourself. Should I do this, should I do that? And I tell people that come to see me, I think once you decide to do something, right, then it's easy. It's the deciding that is the hard part. That's the growth. But you're definitely guardian angels around you supporting you. So whatever it is, just really look at the situation. Just see, are you actually being restrained, or is it that it's fear, you know? Anyway, so the next card is the Three of Swords. So that's basically a time where you're now purging whatever pain you've had deep inside. So whether this is from childhood or with a partner, only you know that. But now that's coming out, you can heal from that, which basically is the same as the card that I said was the Hope card, because that talks about the same thing. That talks about you know, letting everything out, moving forward, feeling vulnerable, and loss of emotion. So that's a very similar card. Now the next one's the Five of Swords. So that talks about, okay, so you've taken on too much in terms of you've spread your energy too thin. So you're trying to put it in too many places, right? So you need to choose one option that, you know, once you put your energy into one source, then you can do something with it. But like, you know, if you're trying to do 5 different jobs, then you probably wouldn't do them very well. But if you put it all into one, then you're going to do well. So that's that one. Now, slow down. So pause and allow things to unfold. And I know my daughter's the same. Every time I used to go and stay with her, I would get told to tell her, you need to slow down, you know. And the thing is, when you slow down, you can start to sort of, what's the word? Ground yourself. You know, if we're not grounded and we're living in our head, that's a horrible place to be sometimes. You know, it's a lot of nervous energy. So you need to slow down and let things unfold. And I'm a very impatient person, so I know how hard that can be. Twin flame. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. How lovely is that? Now, I wish I had that card. So definitely there's a twin flame around you, darling. So if you're actually, you know, wishing for that person, looking at that, then I'm getting shivers through me now, which is usually a yes. There's definitely someone on the horizon who is a twin flame. So that's lovely. And actually also that's happening for a lot of people at the moment as well. You know, we're being redirected to what we came here to do, or to live a life that's more a vibrational match. So that's good. So that's happening for a lot of people. Okay, so hello DC, how you going? I think your face looks familiar. Okay, Neeraj, I'm getting yes. Will I get the job? Yes. Thank you, Julie. That's great. Love you. Oh, don't mind me. I'm so used to saying to my daughters, oh, I love you, that every time I talk to someone, I'll go, oh, I love you. But, you know, giving out the love, you know, there's too little of that in the world. Yeah, darling. Ali, you can either donate in the PayPal in the bio if you'd like reading. Absolutely, that'd be wonderful. Jessica, I'm getting no. And you know, it's funny, when I had my first daughter, I was like, it's a boy, I want a boy, I want a boy. And actually it's funny because I had a girl, but you know, I ended up, the person that I was with when I was 5 weeks pregnant said, oh, I don't want a baby, I want you, but I don't want a baby. And so I thought, yeah, okay, bugger off. And I was actually really glad that I had a girl. And the second time I was married, and I thought, yeah, boy. And the husband at the time, who by the time, I think I'd already realised it was a mistake, you know, when I married him. And it's funny because you know how you guided things and you ignore it. Well, I got married, went to get into the limo, and there was funeral music playing in the limo, and I thought, oh my God. And actually that's what it was like. It was like stalked for 10 years after, did a hell of a job on my body and mind psychologically. You know, I had, what do you call it? Agoraphobia for a full decade. So I feel like I've been robbed of 10 years. I mean, that's a life sentence pretty much. So, yeah, funny stories. I tell you, I'm full of them. Okay, so Yeah, so anyway, back to you, Jessica. When I had the second one, sorry, I got sidetracked for a second there. As soon as I popped her out, it was a girl, and my husband's like, oh, it's a girl, and we also separated because it was a major mistake to marry him. But I was so glad I had my little girl, so I had to bring up 2 girls on my own. I don't know what I would have done with a boy, because I came from a family of 3 girls, you know. But, you know, we choose the souls that come through, and the souls that come through choose us as their parents. So if you look at it in terms of soul, it doesn't matter what gender they are, or anyone for that matter, because it's all about soul connection. You know, it's a complete blessing. And I've actually been in a situation where I've seen souls reincarnate. So I've seen, for example, a grandfather come back through as the grandchild. I've seen a friend who had a twin that came back as a nephew. I've talked to parents that had a child that they had to turn a machine off, come back through as a daughter later. You know, so a friend that came back through who was her mum's twin that died, came back through as a daughter. So whatever you have is no mistake, right? And it's a complete wonderful blessing to have a child either way. And for those that lose them, they're in spirit, they don't go anywhere, they can come back if they want to, and if they don't want to, they don't. But they're not gone, you know? Their soul is there, definitely. Okay. Thanks for the flowers, Jessica, that was beautiful. How you going, Danielle? Good, thanks, love. Hope Lily Stargazer, how you going, darling? Thank you, Jessica, for the hearts. Now, Hope Lily, would you like a reading? Hello, Maddie, how you going? Thanks, love. I'll tell you what, it wasn't not beautiful when I get out of bed in the morning, I can tell you. It takes a little bit of work. Okay, so, who was it? Ali. I'll do a reading for Ali. Okay. And I do put this on YouTube, so if I do a reading for you and you miss it, then you can go to YouTube and have a look and catch it up then. And I don't know about you guys, that, you know, I love watching these things myself. There's a few that I love watching. Ziggy Booten, I think his energy is just fantastic. Pam Sears, she's a really great medium. I mean, I'm a medium as well, but I don't get a lot of information. She can get right into it. And recently I went to see someone live here in town, and it's just really interesting watching other readers and mediums see how they present themselves, you know, because we've all got our own style, you know. I'm sort of a very Mother Earthy type of energy. If I'm around kids or animals, they're on me, you know, they want to play. I did children's services for, 3 years, and they couldn't get out of the hair, and, you know, they'd be lying down for a nap and it'd be like, pat me. But the only thing there is you'd have people that, or kids that wanted to tell you things, you know, and of course in that role you're a reporter, so it's like, oh my God, mummy hit you in the face with an iron. All right, go, well, help. You know, so yeah. But anyway, back to this one for Ali. So if you've got any questions, you know, anything at all, psychic, you know, scary, paranormally things, whatever. I've had all sorts of things happen to me, so pretty versed in all that stuff. Okay, so this is for Ali. Okay. Now we start off here with judgment. So there's a situation where you've either felt judged, or, I mean, personally I think like it's you felt like you've been judged. It's been a real battle. You've been psychically and spiritually protected, but you know, there's that sense of, oh, how much more? There is a little way to go, and things aren't black and white. Nothing in life is black and white, right? I mean, I actually have a daughter who thinks a bit that way, and I've got to zip it. Okay, so there's a little way to go. There is a much brighter future for you. Now, the moon signifies confusion over something at the moment, right? So not knowing which way to turn in regards to that. So there's, you know, it could be over a partner or just something in general, but just don't make any decisions at the moment, because, you know, when you're not thinking clearly, and I think at the moment, the way the world is, that's for everybody, isn't it? I mean, I don't think there's anyone that can really make any solid plans right at this moment. I think if we just be in the moment, be as happy as we can in the moment, then that's actually going to help heal the planet and the people around us, as well as ourselves, you know. So the next card's the High Priestess. So basically that's saying you're someone who, you know, you've got the world in your grasp. You know, a pomegranate means you know everything about life, like you understand it. Once again, you're still not quite to the end of the happy outcome. So, you know, feeling a bit dissatisfied there. Now, there's Three of Pentacles is the next card. So there's a few offers of work or money or a job of some kind. There's some sort of monetary offer. So you've got more than one choice there. There's the beginning of another job or a new job. So so obviously, you know, you've got a few choices there. Then there's the start of a new job. Now, in terms of how you feel about things at the moment, there's a feeling of sort of being on your own. And, you know, I know what that's like because I've been on my own for 25 years now. So for her in this situation, she's got the angel behind her. She's feeling, like I said, somewhat dissatisfied in her current situation. There's love being offered to her by friends and family, but it's just sort of not the love she wants. Now, the Justice card, now I don't know if you're going through any sort of, let's have a look here, confusion. Okay, so now we have a Justice card followed by the Ten of Cups, which sort of signifies a marriage. So whether there's some legal business to be done with a marital partner, only you know that, because it depends how it appears in the pack. So I would look at that and go, okay, the Justice card is some sort of legal situation or a lawyer looking into that, wanting balance, wanting justice. That's followed by the Ten of Cups, which is the marriage card or the partner card. Now, it could be the perfect partner, but then again, if it's read like that, it could mean that this is happening with that person. Now, the following card is the Eight of Swords. So that's having kept all the crap at bay. You've done so well, but now the gods or God is saying to you, choose the next step. It's like, and I do this all the time. I would always, because I was, you know, sexually abused as a kid, you know, emotionally abused all my life, you know, and of course I'm attracting that energy. So, you know, raped and abused emotionally by partners and whatever. And then the ex-husband, like I said, stalked me for 10 years. So when you live a life like that, even if you have the light in you, you get up and you survive. I thrive now and I think about everything, but, you know, 50 years, I'm 55 now, it was the surviving part, you know. So I would not put in the forefront of my mind what I wanted to happen next. So this card is sort of saying to you, you need to start deciding in your mind where you want to go next, because then the universe can give it to you. So the universe will give you the desires of your heart, right? But you've got to have the desires there. You've got to be clear in what you want. So that's that one. Now, in terms of your life path, okay, so let's have a look. The answer that you're searching for involves going to school. Now, I started, like I said, I'm 55, so I started TAFE. I did a couple of years, you know, parenting the kids. They went to school, did a couple of years voluntary in the literacy training, and then I decided, no, I have to start. And by then I was getting guidance, so I was told, do fine arts, because I'm an artist. So it's one of my paintings back there. So I thought, all right, so I did fine arts for 3 years, and then I did children's services for 4 years, but what I found was they did not uphold their practices and procedures, and I thought, excuse my language, F this. Because, you know, I saw things going on that were not okay. So then I did a Bachelor of Psychology. So I did that, and it took me 10 years to finish it, right? I only finished it last year, because I was living life, dealing with doing this sort of work, but also sort of helping my kids and myself heal from different things. so that's made me into a completely different person. So when I see this, going to school, could be TAFE, could be university, you know, it doesn't have to be a young person, just normal school. Just can be, you know, learning a new skill, a new trade. So that's to me, people can do that at any stage in their life. Let me see. Now, the love card I've been told to pull out for you is playfulness and heart-to-heart conversations. So to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Followed by honesty. Okay, so honestly discuss your feelings with each other. So heart-to-heart conversations and playfulness. So, you know, if that was a situation where things were looking a bit, you know, souring, be honest. You know, I mean, I know as women, that's what all we want most of the time. You know, we just want, cut the bullshit, just get on with it. Okay, so that was for you, Ali. Okay, so let's have a look here. Here you go, Maddie. Thanks, darling. Now, Migizzy Milgun. Now, you know who you are. I can pull you a card, yes. Okay. So, this is for... Maybe when you are asked for reading, guys, just put your name. So anyway, Migizzy Milgun. Okay, this is for you, doll. Okay, so it starts off with the King of Cups. I don't know if this is you or someone around you. So this is a male, a king, so, you know, 30 up. Could be a water sign, could be an emotional, sort of romantic-y sort of person, musical maybe. The following cup is the Hermit. So this is time to step back, start cutting from your life that does not serve your higher self anymore. So that means, you know, if you're around people that make you feel sick, you know, argue, whatever, you know, if they're not supporting you emotionally or mentally, or, you know, and you're getting headaches or guts-aches or whatever, that's a sign to cut them out of your life. And you don't have to think badly of that, because as our energy changes and it uplifts, you know, goes to a higher vibrational level, we don't have things in common with the people we used to. And that's not bad, it's just the way energy works. So that's okay to say goodbye to them. And from personal experience, I know, you know, when you're living in the depths of hell, of course, you've got people around you with similar energy. Well, as you start to bring yourself up, you need to pull back, realign yourself, start attracting people at the next level, and so it goes on, you know. So that's where you're at in terms of that. Now, the next card is the Four of Pentacles. So that's like in a situation where you might have someone around you that's not sharing the wealth or resources, or is a bit stingy, you know. But there's growth to be had in that situation. Now, the next card's the Hope card. So you're exhausted at the moment. You've battled and really worked hard. But you're exhausted at the moment. But it's a hope card, so you can heal and move on from that. Now, there's something you may have had to have walked away from or will walk away from to do with love, or something that you love. Could be a person, it could be a job, could be just something. But there's a bit of a feeling of depression, which is a normal psychological response to walking away. So just so long as you don't live there forever, and, you know, I've had all the sorts of depressions you can bloody imagine myself. I've had, you know, like I said, agoraphobia for 10 years. I had specific, for, you know, it was hell. But if I can get over it, anybody can. But it does take work, and it takes, you know, iron will sometimes. Now, the next card is Temperance. So there's a balance between heart and mind. So, you know, you're wanting balance, but also creating that in your life for yourself. And the last card here is moving away from what was a really tumultuous life. So, you know, that's amazing. That's great. You're moving away from that next part of your life, plain sailing. You're cloaked in psychic, spiritual protection. Now, angel card for you, darling, is... Okay, Fiona. So now that you've asked the angels for help, let them. So be open to receiving the assistance you desire. So that's her there. So if you've prayed and requested divine assistance, you're just going to be open to it now. And you can't sort of say to God how you want something delivered to you, you know, which we all in our mind go, oh, I'd like to win the lotto, or, you know, whatever. But it really depends on them, you know. So, so that's your reading, love. Now, what's that behind me? That's a painting. Okay, there. Oh, no, I can't get this bloody straight. It's a painting, and I've just got I just light up some candles and a few little statues and a lamp and, you know, things like that, crystals, whatever. So, Hanny, how you going, Hanny? Didn't want to work on child services as they weren't actually, no, that's what I found. I found, and I did it for 3 years, I got up to the last, you know how you do your clusters after for your diploma. I got up to the very last one, and I was getting, what's the top one? What do you call it? I can't remember the word, but distinctions. I was getting distinctions, right? And then I went on this, you know, what do you call it, when you went on placement, and, you know, we were asked to keep a journal of what we saw, you know, no negative intention whatsoever. So I'm like, oh, okay. In the room today, there was only myself and a person who's not actually registered, you know. So, and because when you work on placement, because at that point I had certificate 3, you're not counted because you're on placement, you see. So it's like, so in other words, there was 20 or 30 kids and nobody was legitimately, you know, registered as a carer. So I'm like, okay. And then I did see emotional abuse with certain kids, and, you know, there were so many things that I saw, but I wasn't writing this down to say, oh, you're bad, you. It was just my observations. Well, of course, that had to be handed in as part of our assessment. Well, the whole bloody, it just blew up. The childcare centre got investigated, which I didn't realise to start with. My distinctions got pulled down to just a pass, and I ended up almost in so much trouble just because I handed in this notes that I'd kept. And yeah, so I decided, well, F you. If that's the way the system works, then I was thinking I'd rather do child psychology or psychology and be a child psychologist, and I'm not really using that in that vein at the moment. I think later I'll end up moving in that direction, but in the meantime, at the moment, it's just I've been focusing on, you know, reading cards, because having a Bachelor of Psychology certainly helps with that, because, you know, in the beginning, I needed a psychologist and a healer, right? The one, and I do healing work as well, and I have done for 23 years, but that's what I needed. So that's what got me on this journey, right? Because I couldn't get what I needed from either a psychologist on their own or a healer on their own. I needed both. So, and actually, was it 25 years ago, I applied to do a Bachelor of Welfare, and I said what I wanted, that I'd wanted to have this healing centre where you had, you know, the modalities of healing mixed with that. And they basically sent back a thing saying, actually, no, that was psychology, because I actually tried to do a Bachelor of Welfare, but at the time I had 2 young kids, and it was like, no, that was psychology. And they said, no, we don't want people like you. And I'm thinking, fine. So when I did do it, I didn't mention anything about that, and I just, you know, gave them what they wanted and continued on my doing my psychic work as well. And then you just marry the two together, you know. But yeah, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating, Hanny, that, yeah, it's anyone that works in that, or I think any human services, especially at the moment with all this COVID carry on, which I have certain feelings on that. And if anyone's interested, I have a page on Facebook called Universal Whispers, and I've actually had that page for 10 years, and I share all sorts of things that are, you know, the covert underlying stuff that people don't talk about and or know about, you know. So yeah, so okay, so Hanny. Now I've laboured on. I'll do your reading, love. So this is for Hanny. Okay, so what we have here, darling, is starts off with the Ten of Cups. And the reason I say the card names is because if anyone wants to listen to this back after, write down the actual card name and look them up themselves. There'll be extra information that might be relevant. And, you know, your own guidance is more important than anything I've got to say. So, you know, it's like being a detective. You find what really is your truth, you know. It takes work. But anyway, so Ten of Wands. So that's exhaustion. That's like you're so close to what you want, but you're exhausted. You know, like you've just taken on so many things. But, you know, so with that, you know, there's that sense of, oh God, you know, I can't go on any longer, and etc. So you're exhausted, and you need to start letting other people do things for themselves because you can't do it all, love. Next one is Two of Wands. So there might be some contracts in the future here, money in, money out at the moment, which is a balancing act, which I think most of us live like that. I know I used to work out about 2 months' pays in advance and still not have enough. Anyway, so the Seven of Swords is walking away from a tumultuous time that's been like, you know, hellish. You've had lots of arguments, but you're walking away from that now. You're cloaked in spiritual protection. And we all have an army of angels and guides with us that want to help us. You know, sometimes when we're caught up in the stress and the trauma of life, we actually block, you know, our connection. We don't hear or notice the signs, and that's something I do energetically. I do that sort of work to remove that, you know, even if it's a past life, I do that sort of work as well. So the next card is the Nine of Swords, and that's not wanting to hear something. So whether the people are talking about you or there's something coming up that you don't want to hear because it's just too much, you're just not wanting to hear something, followed by another card which is the same. So there could be some arguments with someone, whether that's a partner or, you know, if you were in the middle of listening to someone arguing, you know. I mean, I've had people come in, it could be their parents, it could be them with a partner. Once again, arguments, fighting, not wanting to hear what's happening or being said. Now, the next one is something new that you're going to try. You might feel a bit silly about it, but that's okay. It's something new. It'll bring about growth and a brighter future. Now, you're at a crossroads in your life right now, so you need to choose what the next step is. So, I mean, sometimes when you get to that point, oh, yay, you know, you've got another option. You're not stuck. So, whatever it is, you know, start noticing your psychic guidance, you know, that with your, of course, natural intelligence, etc. But everything's sort of balanced in a way that there's an out for you. There's another option if you want to. The next one is sort of like you've got some sort of love wish. Now, doesn't necessarily mean there's a partner there, but there's something that you're wishing for in terms of something that you love and or want. So there's growth around you at the moment, because I mean that's how we learn soul growth, you know. And in terms of the Earth, the planet Earth provides us with lessons of the heart and emotion, right? So there's something there that you're wishing for, but you feel like you can't move. You feel like your hands are tied. Doesn't necessarily mean you can't make a choice or move forward, sorry, but you know, you're actually feeling that you can't make a move and things are like crazy around you. Now, once again, this has come up a bit, so I think that this obviously is a major theme in here. There's this couple again, and if you're the one in the bath, what that suggests is the pain you've experienced from whatever that situation was now can come out and you can heal from that, right? So that's good because you're not going to be, you know, once you heal from that, you can move forward. This is the Hope card. So this is saying once you've let that out, you've healed, right? You're moving forward, getting shivers through me to say yes. Of course, you're going to have feelings and emotions on the matter, but your guardian angels, I mean, they support us. They're like, I mean, I've had many times where I've gone through a little bit of growth and they're like, yay, on the other side. And I'm like, I laugh because I think I'm pathetic, you know. But anyway, so there's much brighter future ahead for you there. Let's see what else we got. Okay, treasure your loved ones is the message they're giving you. So it's important to love others deeply. And you have a natural ability to connect with departed loved ones, so mediumship. So there you go, you may be noticing that mediumship can be like, okay, you notice a smell. Someone that you loved in the past could have been, you know, certain perfume, could be cigarette smoke if they smoked. Like I had a teacher whose name was Coffee, her surname. And of course, twice this week I've knocked over coffee over everything. So for me, that's a sign she's around, you know. So just sort of notice, you know, you might find there's little messages of the people around you, or you could literally, like I used to get people come to visit me in dreams. I don't know, I can't not very often I actually see spirit. It's usually in my mind's eye, because I got channeled once and it scared me too much, and I thought, okay, you know me better than I know me, I'll take your word for that. You know, but I'll see them in the dream state, or I can feel them. I can actually feel them. So, you know, so yeah, so that's for you, Dal. So I hope that helps a little bit. Oh, I live under your bed. Okay. So is there anyone else that would like a reading? I know that if this is in America, this would be a really bad time, of course. But by the time I got myself ready, let's have a look. Didn't want to work. That's okay, honey. Oh, good. How you going, Ziggy? I think I'm running out of people asking for readings, because in Australia it's probably about 3 p.m. here, but over there I think, what is it there, 11 or 12 or something? Well, in terms of the mediumship, Hanny, it's obviously different for everybody. For me personally, I mean, I've had all sorts of experiences. You know, like as a child, I didn't realise that sometimes when you sort of walk into a space where there's someone there, you get such a freezing cold energy, you know. Oh, 10:40 over there, Ziggy, cool. Oh, okay, well, it's not as late as I thought it was. Yeah, I've had them in the dream state, you know, automatic writing. I basically used to write poetry that was really spirit giving me information that helped me, you know, comfort me from the things I'd been through. So just there's all sorts, darling. But I would say to you, if you do anything with mediumship as the intent, because intention's everything, you know. If we intend to start connecting to that, we have to first of all make sure that we protect our energy first, because if you are a medium, you can bring through anything. You know, it depends on what energy you're resonating at, but it also depends where you're going. Yes, Olivia, absolutely, no. Yeah, so you could pick up negative stuff. I mean, I've gone to clear houses and the spirit has tried to push me out the door, you know, I'm like, going, you know, so that was sort of quite funny. When I bought this house, it was funny because I used to live in a flat further up the road, and I'd drive past and I'd be like, I don't know why I keep noticing that house, you know, it's really bizarre, but anyway. So the guy I was dating at the time bought the house, or you know, whatever, and he pulled up out the front with me and said, you know, this is our house. And I thought, oh my God, that's that house I've been driving past for the last 12 months or whatever, looking at it, you know, it was like drawing me in. And it ended up there were 3 spirits in the house, right? Now, they did not like children, so I didn't realise I was a medium. I knew I could sort of, I'd had psychic experience as well. I'd had them, but I didn't really quite understand them. But when I moved in here, I could actually feel myself change walking from room to room. It was like something would jump in and I'd be like, oh my God. And, you know, I'd get ready to go out on the weekend. I'd be looking in the mirror going, I'm a fox, I'm a fox. Well, apparently there were 2 women here that were old lushes, you know, they used to like to have a bit of a drink. And, oh, they would have been having fun through me. But they hated children. So by the time I had, because I was, 24 when I moved in, and I had my first daughter at 25, so say nearly 26, the second one at 28. And, of course, you know, they've been here all that time. And I used to look at the kids and I'd start carrying on, you know, like shut that effing door and different things. And it wasn't me, it was them. And one time the kids were in the bath. And, you know, the bathroom's here, the kitchen's there, doors open, you know, and they're in the bath, and I walked in the kitchen, then I walked back, and it was like they were being drowned in the bath. So and one of the women had died in the bath. And I used to find it interesting that I'd be sitting in the bath and I'd get all depressed and I'd start crying and, you know, whatever. So I did not realise, you know, what was happening, and they were coming through. But, so, you know, regards the kids, it was like, oh, these poor kids. And, you know, I've got photos from back then with sort of weird things in the background. And, you know, I've had different psychics say to me, it's never a mistake when you see something weird with the lighting or whatever. Well, because today, the cameras we have today, you can see orbs and everything, you know what I mean? I'm house hunting and I'm looking at pictures and I'm thinking, nah, there's too many orbs in that house. And you can sort of pick up energy even just looking at photographs. So I was like, nah. But yeah, so mediumship was, and there was another, like there were 3 entities in the house. And, you know, one night, because this was a bedroom back then, I jumped into bed and I could feel this energy slide in behind me. And I'm like, fuck. So I jumped out the other side and thought, oh my God. So I'm running around, lots of lights, cups of tea, whatever. You know, so that sort of started me on my journey, real journey, because I went and got someone, you know, I said, look, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but can you come and check my house for ghosts? Anyway, so then I met my first teacher. She came, she got them out, the negative energies, took them wherever they take them. And yeah, and then she said to me, now the house is empty. You've got to fill it with love. So she said, that wasn't you, that was them. So this can happen. And what I got channeled was, what I personally got channeled is negative energies and entities. The only way they can jump into a soul is through depression and addiction and all the negative feelings that we have. That's the only way they can get into us, right? So, you know, that is part of the human experience. So for those of us who are quite open to spirit and can mediate, you know, they can have a party, basically. Yeah, so you do need to check, if you're going to get into this sort of stuff, the sort of energetic connections you're making. And, you know, we are all on different vibrational levels, obviously, and I sort of figure that sometimes when we come across one that might be a bit of a scary experience, it could be to learn something, you know. So that's interesting. But I think if you're coming from love and light, the negative, it's a completely different vibration, so they really can't, you know, they're just not a match, so they're not going to be able to get in. But you know, you do have to be careful. I personally was guided to say and I'm not religious, I wasn't brought up religiously at all. I really was brought up with no, you know, no sort of, I don't know, what would you call it, structure, I suppose. So you sort of had to figure it out for yourself. But I suppose I was taught to be afraid of everything, you know, unless you checked it with Dad and, you know, then you wouldn't get it right, you know. So that's very debilitating. Not done with any ill intent himself, because he was an abused child himself. So, you know. Yeah, well, Hanny's saying her sister and I have nightmares in our rooms all the time, and sister swears she has seen something. Absolutely. You know yourself, your little spidery feelings, you know, like I think since I've lived here and I can get rid of spirit obviously now, but, and I help souls over. So it's sort of like when you're a medium yourself, what happens is sometimes spirit will attach himself to somebody that may come across and meet you, because they know that inadvertently they get passed on and they're around your energy and you can help them over. So I used to find that happened to me a lot. My daughter would go off and, you know, play with one person in particular. She came back here and would play here, and then all of a sudden my daughter's in bed saying, Mum, I can see an alien at the end of the bed. And I'm like, it's okay, darling, just hang on to me. Mum, I can see a hooded person at the end of the bed. You know, one time she saw Ganesh, and I thought that was really interesting because at the time, the healer I had working on me was channeling Sekhmet energy, which actually is like a cat from Egypt type goddess, and he'd also been around that what do I call him? Oh, the one I just said a minute ago, the elephant one. And she saw him, and I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, my daughter could see a lot of stuff. I feel it, and I got told by Spirit that I'm a little bit afraid of that, so that's why I don't see it that way, because I would probably question my sanity. But she used to see things, and at the moment, I know she does see some things, but she's like me. She'll get a lot of information in the dream state, which is sort of a way that's a little bit more palatable for some of us that would, you know, start doubting ourselves. Yes, she's saying, I get feelings of a presence at times. Well, if there's one there, there's one there. And I mean, there's so many different types. I mean, you know, you've got the people that are around you to support you and love you, which will come and go. You know, you might smell smells or whatever, or, you know, whether it's pennies or a ladybird, for me it's a ladybird, whatever, then you'll get that. You've got negative entities and energies that are, you know, around the place. That's completely different to archangels, which is different to, you know, having someone's grandma or whomever come through. Yeah, so, you know, to me it's the passion of my life. You know, if I had not had this connection to Spirit, I probably wouldn't be here. And I, you know, I was told 26, 27 years ago that, you know, I chose this before I came, which we do. And I was told, you know, when you're told you'll be a light for other people to help them, say 20 years ago, 25 years ago or whatever, you know, you're considered insane and people just wouldn't, you know, you would not talk about it. But now, because more and more people are being born with those gifts, it's great to be able to be authentic and be yourself and not be considered crazy, or at least, you know, you don't feel crazy yourself, you know. So yeah. Would saging the home assist in clearing the energy in the house? I usually use incense all the time, but if you don't have it, like, it's intent. If you run around with your finger, a feather, a crystal, a stick, doesn't matter. If your intention in whatever thing you do is to cleanse the house, and you're asking God, and I mean, to me, I like I said, I'm not overly religious. I get told to say Our Father and Hail Mary, right, before I do any work, and I say it 3 times. And it doesn't have to be out loud, but they do say if you say it out loud, it's more potent. So I used to do that, and I'll, God bless this space, so I'll run around, and it's whatever you're told. I mean, what you're told might be, or feel comfortable with, might be different to what I am. But I bless certain spaces when I'm talking and healing with people, because usually when you're connecting with them, you're pushing that energy in anyway. It's, you know, if someone starts being negative, it's like, oh, God bless space, you know. Yeah, so yes, you can use that. Back in the day, I remember I cleared one house and I had a friend there, and, you know, did salt and whatever, because salt, they reckon, you know, stops negative energies passing through. And the poor friend, this is the house I said I walked in, and it was like, the Spirit's trying to stop me, you know. Anyway, so I'm running around the house, because it was crossing every little cupboard or opening or whatever, right? Anyway, I didn't realise, because my friend is also very open to Spirit. He actually tried to get into her. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I didn't protect her, you know, because I didn't even think about that. So it can be sort of funny and not, you know. And I remember going to another friend's house, and there was a poltergeist there, and her and I, and also the boots were moving around the room. You know, like, you'd look, and then all of a sudden they'd be over there and go, oh my God. And I had my daughter with me, and I think she might have been about 10-ish, you know. Anyway, we were like freaking out, and we're like, Lise, just go over there and get such and such, you know. So for me, it can be, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned salt. Mum was saying the same thing yesterday, and she doesn't believe in this. Well, that's just been forever. But, you know, I did do that, you know. And I love watching horror movies and you know, movies of anything to do with spirit, because it's like when you see something that you think, yeah, that's true, it's fun. But anyway, yeah, so whether it's, and I have made holy water before, just guided, you know, and got around and tossed it wherever it's needed to go. But like I said, intention's everything. So whatever you do, so long as your intention is to clear the room, that's what'll happen. I mean, a healer I went to for 10 years, and I haven't seen him for quite a few years now, he did, you know, work on healing the planet. He would go around, and he was a Feng Shui master as well as an energy master, and he could adjust ley lines and different energetic things in the earth. And he said that at one stage there, so it would have been at least, I reckon, 5 years ago, that now you only have to open up the windows and let fresh air in. And so I'm a person that, like, I've always got, you know, the back door open 24/7. I like to open the front door. I open the windows in the lounge and the kitchen, so I've got, you know, air going through. I don't like anything that's really, you know, I don't like stifled energy, because it's not good for you, you know. Yeah, so intention's everything, but you can Google that sort of stuff. So, you know, but it's whatever you're comfortable with, you know. So yeah, go and sage. It's your intention. You know, I actually, like, I used incense sticks, and not the real stinky ones because they give you a headache, but the nicer ones. And I did have a big thing of sage there one day, but for me personally, it was like the house was on fire. So I prefer the incense sticks, but yeah. Okay, so Olivia, she'd like a general reading. Yep. I mean, I'm full of stories. After, you know, 25 years and 55 years on the planet, I got lots of them. I got told I'll write a book about myself, which, you know, when you have certain things happen in your life, you think, do I share that or not? Because, you know, just because you have certain experiences, people within the same family might not have the same experiences, and you think to yourself, you know, is that going to cause World War III or what? I don't know. So there's always that feeling of maybe I can't be authentic, but it's your own story, you know. But anyway, so there'll be that eventually, and apparently that's going to have my artwork in it. And then I got told that I'd end up writing one about the Tree of Life and chakras. Well, in regards to that one, I haven't, not in this lifetime, I don't know a lot about that. So I'm thinking that's way down the track, you know. But yeah, there's so many people with so much information out there that's fascinating, you know. I spend so much time watching documentaries on all this sort of stuff, and like I said, the underlying theories of what's going on in the world. And if you, like I said, follow my page, Universal Whispers, on Facebook, I share all of that sort of stuff there. But it's something that, as I said to a friend the other day, or a psychic person in town, they're only my gut feelings. So I post what I think has truth in it. Doesn't mean it's all truthful, but there's an element of in it that I think is some form of truth. But at the end of the day, we're here for an experience, right? As a human, we are here to experience on this planet love and emotion. So that's what we're here. That's what this planet affords us. So you know, what is in our actual sphere is what matters. So that's the most important thing. So if you can keep that as pleasant as you can, go and heal as many things as you can, that then filters back to the one consciousness. So the healthier and happier we all are as individuals, that goes back to that one consciousness. So, you know, that's the advice I give most people. You do what you can in your space, you be as happy and as healthy as you can in your space, be hopeful and optimistic, focus on the good stuff. I mean, be aware of what's going on, because I thought maybe there's something wrong with me, that I'm actually really passionate about finding out about those things. But then I was watching another psychic medium the other day, and she was saying, because I've done psychology and I'm really interested in the human behaviour, you know, I watch things on serial killers and stuff like that, and I thought, have I got a problem or what? I don't know. Anyway, she said she does the same thing, and I thought, oh, thank God I'm not the only one, you know. Because I think, because half of my day is spent affirmations and, you know, giving to others in a positive way, but I also like to know what the reality of the world is, you know, because if you look at Laurie Ladd, she's also said the same thing, that if we at least know what's going on, but hold the space for love and light, then we can make a difference. Because if we put our heads in the sand, we're not addressing the problems. So I totally believe that and agree with that. Anyway, Olivia, let's have a look. Now, the Three of Pentacles is the first card, so there's some sort of job offer here for you. There may be more than one offer. Next card is the Hierophant, so that's sort of wanting things more authentic. The light is shining through on you. This may be in, like this, there could be contracts to be signed, but this is sort of like, it could be just the beginnings of you thinking about this, because he's sort of like in a cave, he's wanting peace. That's the picture. So he hasn't come right out with it yet. So there could be contracts, but in the future. Now there could be, now having said that, the next card talks about Five of Wands, a battle for something. So there's something you want. So I mean, that could be a job, it could be a home, it could be whatever. And I mean, in terms of home, it could be a bank loan, i.e. the contracts, whatever. So there's some sort of battle there, but you're with someone working through that. The next card is the Ace of Pentacles. So that's the beginning of a business or something that will bring money in. Okay, so that's just the beginning of that. Next card, choose like Five of Swords. Put your energy into one avenue, not half a dozen, because you'll be more, you know, it'll be more potent. So you've got to choose now what you want. Start putting it in the forefront of your mind, because that's how you manifest it. Now, you've gone through a cycle, or there's a cycle ending, so that's fine, everything's in balance there, but know that that's the nature of our being. It's, you know, we learn one lesson, then we move on to the next, and that's fine. That's how we're supposed to move through energetically, you know, and the quicker we get it, the quicker we move on to the next one. Now, there's something around you at the moment. There could be things being said that you don't want to hear, so you'll know what that is, but you may be having people talk about you, or there's some information or news that's not, you don't want to hear. Now, there's also some sort of love, you know, something that you're wishing for in terms of love, and this person, if you're wanting a partner and you haven't got one, you're wanting one, but he's not physically there. Okay, let's have a look at that. Okay, so the card I'm looking at regards to love is give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. So whether that means there's something that you're wishing in regards to that partnership. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. And that's so true. I mean, that's why I've been on my own for 25 years. It's like when you feel like you're a piece of shit and, you know, whatever, or you're afraid of intimacy or whatever, you block it. But the more you do love yourself, the better sort of person you'll attract. Because when we don't, like whatever beliefs we hold about ourselves, that is what we're energetically giving to the universe. That then is what we'll attract, because we're telling the universe that's what I'm worth and that's what I deserve. You know, and I know myself, I've done that in the past, and I've had partners where I've thought, oh, you know, okay, he might be a thieving, whatever, but I deserve that, you know, that's punishment for something else I may have done, you know. So the more you love yourself, the more positive energy you'll attract, and then, you know, a much better partner for you. So whatever you, and also, I mean, you know, people talk about soulmates and you know, twin flames. I mean, a soulmate can be a child, it can be a friend. So that one's sort of different to a twin flame. A twin flame is supposed to be the other part of your energy, but, you know, personally, I don't think I've met mine. But, you know, it depends what we've agreed to experience in this life. Not everybody is here to be with someone forever. You know, I say to my kids, you know, you're on an adventure. You can have whatever you want in your life, but just because you're here, having a partner doesn't make you complete. You would ideally become a complete person before you attach to another soul. But understanding the way life works and soul connections and soul lessons, you know, whatever we're thinking and feeling, we attract that energetic vibrational match. We go through whatever that lesson is, move on to the next, you know. Some partners can ride the wave and come along with us at the same pace. Others that can't get left behind, and that's just the way it is. You know, so ultimately it is about our soul growth. And in terms of past life connections, I mean, before we come here, we choose. All right, okay, Fred's going to go through this, this and this, and that person, that soul this time is going to be that character. Okay, in this life, that character, you know, like my ex-husband, for example, we'd had at least 3 lives together. I mean, they probably weren't very good, but the point is we obviously chose to come back and go through different scenarios. So, you know, there's all of that on top of it as well. So it's, you know, so diverse, it's so interesting, and, you know, it's just like, it's been my passion. You know, I love all of this stuff. So I hope that helped a little bit. Thanks, I'm glad you like my stories. I mean, I used to do a lot of healing work, doing that sort of work where you'd talk like a storyteller, and apparently my dad was a storyteller, my grandfather was a storyteller, and my youngest daughter's, you know, thespian. She loves, she used to be in a drama club, and the first time I heard her sing, I was like, oh my God, I'm so in love with my daughter. You know, now Amelia, oh no, you're someone different. Okay, I'll do you a reading in a minute, Amelia. Yeah, so, you know, I find it's fun to talk and to give information that way, but a lot of people are like, oh, for God's sake, shut up and pull your head in, will you? You know, they don't get it because they're not understanding that, you know, by telling a story, you're not telling someone how to live their life, because each to their own. Nobody's got the right to do that. Zibby, get out of it. Let's have a lovely, lovely licky section down there. Yeah, so nobody's got the right to tell you how to live or what's right for you, because what's right for one person might not be right for another person. And that's why, by telling a story, you might be offering a bit of information, something to think about, but whether they take it on board or you take it on board doesn't matter. What's relevant to one person's journey is entirely up to them, you know, and it's not necessarily anyone else's business to tell a person how to live. But what I found in my journey, by the way, was that, you know, you have an experience, then you might find a teacher that can explain or validate some of those things. Back in the day when I did it, because we didn't have, of course, the internet, books, you know, so Betty Shine was one I read years ago, who was someone who could send off thousands of healings at once, and she was just amazing. You know, just different books you'd come across, and I'd have them jump out of shells at me, literally. You know, so now it's a matter of Googling. But once again, it's wherever your energetic vibration is at, then you'll attract, or you'll be attracted to someone with that same vibration. You might watch a whole heap of stuff and just pick a few parts out of it and go, hey, yeah, that's what I experienced. So that's how it works. You know, you just collect your own little file of information, if you like, and just go from there. And for me, it was just, you know, I'd be guided. Okay, you know, there was a lot of years I did helping souls over. Then I did a few years on clearing past lives for people. Then it was like, you know, hands-on healing sporadically throughout. But then it was groups of people that I would send, you know, healings to. And of course, it doesn't matter where you go. I got to a point where I really hated going anywhere, like travelling, because wherever I went, there'd be a ghosty experience, you see. And, you know, it's sort of like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere, you know. I'm quite happy being home, you know. But that's the thing. If you're a medium or a healer, God will put you where he needs you. And that's for everybody. Whatever your skill set is, you'll be shoved wherever you're needed, you know. And just don't try and fight it. And, you know, my sister would be like, oh, but why does this keep happening? And I'd say, well, you're meant to blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, well, I'm sick of it. I don't like this anymore. And I thought, unfortunately, you know, that's not a factor. So, yeah. So, anyway, so who else have we got here? Does anyone else want a reading before I go? Emily Louise. Okay, Emily Louise. We'll do a reading for you, darling. Okay, so Emily. My TTC journey. I'm not sure what TTC means. I'm not very good with hyphenated stuff or short stuff, but I've got a reading here for you, love. Now, first of all, we have the marriage card. So this is basically sort of representational of, you know, like a partner. So, oh, okay. All fine, all good, babies coming, but of course they come in divine timing, right? Okay, so this is the partnership, okay? This is a partner or a marriage or, you know, you don't have to have the piece of paper. Now, there's the Knight of Cups, so that's a male. The Cups is love. He could be a water sign, could be, you know, a very caring, gentle sort of person. Now, the next card is the Ace of Cups, so that's a heartfelt wish. So obviously that's what probably your heartfelt wish is. Now, what this is saying is things have been quite tumultuous, and there's actually someone around me at the moment for you. So there's obviously someone on the other side who is, you know, watching over and trying to help with this situation. There's some sort of challenge coming up regards to this then, darling. But once you get over it, plain sailing, great. The next one's Five of Cups, so there's regret or there's been some loss and someone's still, like, it's creeping right up my knees and up my legs at the moment. So there's been something where there's been a loss of emotion, a heartfelt sort of loss. Now, the Queen of Cups is, if it's not you, it's someone around you who's, you know, into, you know, maybe healing and psychic stuff and, you know, spirituality, could be artistic. Okay, that's probably who's around me then. So my father-in-law or my baby I lost in April. Okay, so that would be the loss and the regret. Yep. Okay, well, whoever they are, if they're both together, they're in this room and it's like, it is cold in Broken Hill today, but for me, when Spirit's around, it's like really cold and icy inside out, like in your body on to the outside. So they're definitely here. So they've come through to let you know that they're there. And, you know, if that baby wanted to come through later, they can do that, even if your dad wanted to come through. You know, it depends, like your soul agrees with that soul before they come through. So whatever happens, it's always a soul contract agreement. But anyway, they're not lost. You know, I mean, my daughter years and years ago had lost a baby, and I think a couple of years ago now, it was like she was just dying to come through, right? And my daughter has some health issues, so at the moment she's fostering 2 babies, twins, and one of them, I believe, is the soul that was dying to come back through. So when I look at her, it's almost like I see a mini version of my daughter. So, you know, it doesn't even have to come through your own body. If you're meant to have time with a soul or be a parent to a soul, it will happen. So anyway, so there's this female around you, or it could be you. So, you know, into all esoteric stuff, all the healing stuff, could be musical, could be, you know, be feeling very emotional though, so that would definitely make you feel emotional. The next card is the Devil card. So that could be maybe, I mean, drugs, alcohol, those sorts of things is what we usually think about. But it just could mean maybe a crutch of some kind, you know. Back in the day for me, I have addictive behaviour, so it would be spending money on the credit card. And it wasn't for flash stuff, it was just basically to live. But there could be something that, you know, you're doing to sort of numb the pain, if you like. But, you know, you yourself will know what that is. Also, on another level, it can be just that you appreciate and love yourself as you are. You're a natural person and there's nothing wrong with you. Now, the next card is the Page of Swords. So there could be gossip around you at the moment. Page could also represent a male, a young male. But there's sort of, you know, that feeling of iciness and you know, aloneness. But sort of gossip. So there may be someone talking about you there. All right, well, you're moving away from this. Whatever this rubbish and in terms of emotional turmoil, you know, whatever these negative feelings are, you're moving away from it. Okay, so that's good. And your psychic, spiritual self is being protected, which, you know, we all are. We all have our little family on the other side. Okay, so Rochelle, that's funny because that's my daughter's middle name. As you honour and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. So follow your heart. I couldn't say that enough for anybody, just everybody. Just follow your own guidance. Now, power animal. Your animal in spirit and spirit guides is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. So, okay, so you may have an animal on the other side, and I've actually had animals come through me in the dream state and as ghosties jump on over me as well to give messages to people. So basically you've got a little pooch or someone on the other side here that is trying to also work as a guide for you too. Okay, healer. You have the spiritual gifts of healing and a desire to share it with others. And I would say the more you share it, the more you actually heal yourself. So that's for you, darling. So I hope that Emily Louise helps a little bit, darling. Okay. It's okay, honey. Right. So I don't know what time it is. Now, anyone else want a reading before I go? I don't think there's many people in the room at the moment. I'm not sure what the time is here. That's okay, Emily. God bless, darling. Yeah, good. Good. And like we all know, when you do a reading for someone, that's coming through my framework. And when I tell stories, that's also, usually I tell a story because there's something in it that will resonate with that person, because otherwise they'd tell me, no, don't talk about this, or, you know, suddenly you get a cough and you, because they're trying to shut you up, and that's happened to me before. It's me again. I think I already answered that question, love, and that was yes. I answered that way up the top. Yeah, so, you know, it's been lovely chatting, guys. Thank you all for joining me. It's been lovely. And I'll put this on YouTube, so if you guys missed it and want to have a look, or, you know, had a reading and didn't hear it, you can come back and have a look, which personally I appreciate because I forget things. I think that's why I make a good channel. It's like, what's your name? Oh, I forgot. Sometimes when I get into that grandma mode, I tell you. Soph, I'm 55, babe. 5's one of my favourite numbers. It's not rude at all. My internet is crap. It's me again. Oh, okay, well, go to, so it's okay, love. I already did it, but yeah. My YouTube channel, if you go to the profile for TikTok, there's a little arrow, and if you press that, that'll take you to my YouTube channel. So you only have to press it, and it will take you there. Yeah. So God bless everyone. I'm not sure what time it is here. Let's have a look. So God bless everyone. I'm not sure what time it is here. Let's have a look. 48. 3:48 here, so I got on at 2. So anyway, have a good night, guys, and thanks for joining me. Follow, share, and if you missed it, you can go to YouTube and have a look, and I've got all sorts, you know, of different sessions. But when I do a session, it's not just readings. I talk in between a lot about different spiritual things, like I share that way. So there's always something, you know, if you can hang on long enough, that I share that's sort of relevant to us all. But anyway, guys, God bless and have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.